Hey guys, Dannar Hetoshi here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you about Extra Life. Extra Life is a Children's Mercy Miracle Network Hospital's fundraising program within the gaming community. Participants fundraise year-round to pledge to game for 24 hours with one goal: to save and improve the lives of sick and injured kids. Funds raised stay local to help pediatric patients at 170 Children's Miracle Network hospitals across North America. Since 2008, Extra Life has raised more than $30 million for member hospitals. The movement, formed by gamers bonded by passion, is committed to saving and improving the lives of local kids. Your donation is tax deductible and will make miracles happen for families who desperately need them. The link in the description below will take you to my Extra Life fundraising page. Once there, you can click the donate button at the top of the page to make a safe and easy online donation. I need your help to reach my goal for the kids. Thank you so much for supporting my efforts.
Guys, it's your boy Dannar Hetoshi, and we are here today talking about the state of the Kench. That's right, it's time. It's been about 3 months now since we've talked about Tahm Kench. We've got 3 months of legitimate ranked gameplay under our own belt, as well as seeing what the top players from the NA, from the US, from Korea have all been playing for their top Kench in multiple lanes, and we're gonna give some talk about Tahm Kench, the state of the Kench. Alright, so first off, as I predicted back in November of 2017, Glacial Augment is busted. Tahm Kench just recently saw a huge upswing in play, particularly with a very specific rune set. What's up guys, it's your boy Dannar Hetoshi. Just a quick reminder, we're doing a $50 RP card giveaway for any League of Legends server, one for reaching 1,000 YouTube subscribers and one for reaching 1,000 Twitch.tv followers. Links in the description below. Let's get back to the video. Glacial Augment on the primary tree. So we'll show you here the actual rune page we're talking about. This is the Glacial Augment Kench support page. They've been taking, the top Koreans have been taking Glacial Augment, Biscuit Delivery, Magical Footwear, and Approach Velocity, and in the Resolve tree they've been taking Conditioning and Second Wind. This is giving you 145 health right off at the start of the game. It's giving you plus 20% on potion and elixir duration, and that includes the biscuits that you get from Biscuit Delivery. Conditioning after 10 minutes gives you plus 8 armor and plus 8 magic resistance, and increases your armor and magic resistance by 5%. And Second Wind gives you extra sustain when an enemy attempts to poke you. You heal for 4% of your missing health, plus 6 over 10 seconds. This is a really solid support page for Tahm Kench, guys. I've been playing it myself. Keep in mind, I'm only a Platinum MMR player. I am not some NA Challenger player with Tahm Kench or a Korean Challenger player with Tahm Kench. However, I do know the champion very well. I've been analyzing the games of Challenger players that have been playing Tahm Kench. And Second Wind, Conditioning, this page in general, really strong on Tahm Kench, guys. We'll show you the build path here in just a little bit, but we'll talk about these other support page that people have been playing for Tahm Kench, and that is my other support page that I've been playing on Tahm Kench, which is specifically Guardian, with either Demolish or Unflinching. Depends on what you're going for, Demolish or Unflinching. I usually go with Unflinching, but then I go Conditioning, and then I go either Overgrowth or Second Wind. Overgrowth if it's a farm lane, Second Wind if it's a poke lane. Basically though, the idea behind going with Guardian over Glacial Augment is if you get counter-picked, so Janna, Lulu, these heal shield mage enchanters that can still poke and just outrange you and just peel you for days and days and days and slow you and poke you and slow you and poke you, then instead of going Glacial Augment, which is a more aggressive rune path, you want to go this way, which is Guardian, Unflinching, Conditioning, and or the Mirror Shell is the other option to go here, but I like Conditioning. And then you go either Overgrowth or Second Wind. I typically go Second Wind. And then in your secondary tree, you still go for the Inspiration, and I still like Biscuits and Approach Velocity here. However, I've been seeing a lot going boots and approach velocity, which is absolutely fine choice as well. Boots and approach velocity would be more for a like Janna Lulu lane, and then biscuits and approach velocity would be more for like a Xerath lane or a Brand lane, where you're guaranteed to be getting poked a lot by the enemy support, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage to you as the enemy support. So the nice thing about this page in particular into support poke like Brand or Xerath or Vel'Koz is you get the Guardian Shield for both yourself and your ADC, and you get biscuits for your self-sustain, you get second wind for self-sustain, and to resist against the slows, the knockups, and whatnot going on, you also have Unflinching, which gives you the increased tenacity and slow resistance. Also, it gives you that same tenacity and slow resistance when your spells are on, your summoner spells are on cooldown. So like I said, this is more of a passive lane rune page for Tahm Kench if you are going into a poke lane like Brand, Xerath, Vel'Koz, Zyra. Lanes where you really aren't going to be able to get on them too often. You have to go all in or sustain through poke. That's what this page is for. And the other page, like I said, is the more aggressive one. The count when you're picking Kench as a counter pick, and you're going into champions like Alistar, Leona, Thresh, Blitzcrank. Braum is another one. Shen has been getting a lot of play right in the support lane. So all these melee engage style champions, this is what you want for those champions. Glacial, Augment, Kench support. It's fantastic. It plays really well. It plays to Tahm Kench's strengths. Alright, let's talk about Tahm Kench items in the support role. One of the massive changes that we have recently seen in the support role in general is they removed Sightstone completely from the game. It is now a quest reward for Sightstone. So the reward, gain unique active warding, consumes a charge to place a self ward that reveals the surrounding area for 150 seconds. Holds up to 3 charges which refill upon visiting the shop, limited to 1 gold income item. And the quest is earned upon earning 500 gold, using the item and upgrading it to Targon's Brace. So now, the build order with Tahm Kench in the support role is pretty static. There's really only one way to go. The only optional choice you have to make with Tahm Kench as support is what boots you're going to be taking. But generally speaking, the build order is Relic Shield and either 3 red pots or refillable, depending on how much poke and how much you win the lane. You take 3 red pots if you're going to be getting a lot of poke. You take refillable if you are confident that you win the lane. So I do Relic and refillable into champions like Thresh, Alistar, Braum, and I do Relic Shield and 3 red pots into mage supports like Brand, Xerath, Vel'Koz, Zyra, etc. And then early game, you rush that Targon's. That's the first thing you buy every time, period, end of story. If you do not have magical boots, then it's Targon's and boots. If you do have magical boots, then it's Targon's and a ruby crystal into the Kindle Gem. Kindle Gem is pretty much always my second buy after the Targon's because it gives you the 10% cooldown reduction and it gives you plus 200 health. Health stacks really well on Kench in the early game since you are already pretty resistant to MR and AD. You have 27 base MR in the early game and 47 armor, and those both go up fairly significantly. You already have a pretty big health pool as Tahm Kench, plus you have the E shield, which helps to negate a lot of the burst that you can get from enemy AP mages, support mages. So you already are pretty healthy, and you just want to stack that health to maximize the synergy with your E shield and get yourself that 10% cooldown reduction, which obviously helps with all of your abilities, being able to poke more, being able to take more poke. It's just fantastic. And then the actual core build for Tahm Kench in the support, and this is what I've been doing basically every time I've been playing Tahm Kench, is you go boots, and the boots in particular are these 4 options. There's no other options for Tahm Kench. You don't take Lucidity Boots. It's not as good on Tahm Kench as it can be on other champions. So my number 1 boot that I look to take is Boots of Swiftness. If there's a lot of AD, if it's a lot of auto attackers, or champions that use auto attacks in between spells, then I do Ninja Tabby. If there's a ton of crowd control that I need to reduce, then I take Merc Treads. And if I need to match a roaming champion like Bard or Blitzcrank, then I'll take Mobility Boots. But those are the 4 boot options. I would say the order in which I take them is probably Swiftness, Tabbies, Merc Treads, Mobility Boots. I take this the least out of the 4 options, and I take Swiftness Boots the most. But I would say these 2 are about even. This one's slightly ahead of Ninja Tabby. And then I'll take Merc Treads if I am the only frontline tank and I need to be the frontline tank and I need to be absorbing a lot of crowd control, then I'll take Mercury Treads. And then for the build itself, like I said, it's Targons. You sit on Targons. You don't upgrade to Remnant of the Aspect. You sit on Targons with the wards. So going from Targons to Remnant, you get an additional 325 health. You get the upgrade to 200% base cooldown reduction, or base health regeneration, and you get plus 10% cooldown reduction. However, the passive does not go up significantly. So the Spoils of War, you still get the gold from killing them. It doesn't change. You get 3 charges. With this one, you get 4 charges. You still get Bandit from either one of them. So basically, upgrading from this to this is 800 gold. No, it's 950 gold. No, it's 1,050 gold. 850 to 1,900. So it's 1,050 gold to get plus 150% base health regeneration, 10% cooldown reduction, and 325 health. That's garbage. That is not what you want to be rushing. You do not want to be rushing this item because the gold efficiency going from Targons to Remnant of the Aspect is terrible. Don't do it. Don't upgrade it first. Period. End of story. You don't want to do it. What you want to do in the early game, you see how cheap this build is? You see how cheap this core build is? You want to go Targons, which is 850, into Knight's Vow, which is 2,200, gives you health and armor and cooldown reduction, and Locket of the Iron Solari gives you magic resistance armor and that big fat AoE shield, which is super important for team fighting, which you are imminently involved with all the time. So, the core build, like I said, Boots, Knight's Vow, Locket. Almost always in that order. Sometimes, if it's a very, very AP heavy team, you can go Locket of the Iron Solari before Knight's Vow. However, you still want to get the CDR component of the Knight's Vow, the HP CDR component of the Knight's Vow to give you some more HP in addition to the Targons. And then, like I said, you finish Targons, Remnant of the Aspect, and then Warmogs is kind of core, kind of not. So it's mostly core in that if you don't have a specific need for your 4th item, then you want to go with Targons. If you have a specific need, like they're a crit heavy team with a Yasuo and an AD carry, then you want to go Randuin's Omen. If they are sustain heavy, like a Soraka AD or a Soraka support, or a Trundle, or any champion that has a lot of natural built-in sustain into their kit, Thornmail. If they have a lot of auto-attacking attack speed style champions like a Master Yi and a Callista, or a Master Yi, any champions that rely on attack speed to do a lot of attacks and a lot of damage through attack speed, Frozen Heart. It gives you the cooldown reduction, it gives you 100 armor, and it reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies in an aura by 15%. If you're against an AP heavy sustained damage team like Ryze, Cassiopeia, Vladimir, Singed, Swain, well, Swain not anymore, but Singed, Teemo, champions like that, Adaptive Helm. If you need AoE healing in addition to AoE shielding, then Redemption is actually really good. It gives you your own base health, it gives you your own health pool, bonus health. It gives you base health regeneration. It gives you base mana regeneration. It gives you the plus 10% cooldown reduction, and it gives the unique active, which gives your team a bit of AOE healing. If you're against a pit comp, a comp that has a ton of crowd control and a lot of AP damage, then Mikhail's Crucible is actually really good, because this cleanses all stuns, roots, taunts, fears, silences, slows on an allied champion, and grants them slow immunity for 2 seconds. Cleansing an effect grants the ally 40% movement speed for 2 seconds. So you can use this on yourself, you can use this on an ally. It's really, really nice. This is like a cleanse for this is basically a cleanse on an active item. So Mikhail's Crucible is a really great one into a team comp, say, that has a Morgana and a Malzahar and a, I don't know, a Gragas, teams that have a ton of crowd control and just want to lock you down. And, the bouncy castle comp, for example, which is Alistar, J4, and Galio. Alistar support, J4 jungle, Galio mid. That engage is insane. Alistar goes in with the headbutt ground pound thing, and it knocks you up. And then J4 comes in after that and knocks you up with his flag and drag. And then Galio ults in on top of the Alistar and knocks you up there. So this is great into comps like that, where you can cleanse that original knockup and be able to avoid the second and third knockup, etc., etc., etc. Really great into teams like that where they have a lot of CC and you need to be able to cleanse CC multiple times on your AD carry through your W, and then through the Mikhails, and then through their cleanse or QSS, or however it winds up working out. Mikhails is just really good to help remove CC on your AD carry. So those are really the big situational items. That's really it for support, guys. It's all, like I said, once you get beyond this core item build right here, boots plus these 3 items, it's very situational. One note to keep in mind with Tahm Kench in particular, but with a lot of support champions in general, is that 6th item you don't want to complete until you can just buy it outright. You don't ever want to fill that 6th slot, because you want to keep buying control wards over and over and over again. But that's really it, guys, for support Tahm Kench. The runes, Glacial Augment, or Guardian, depending on whether it's poke lane or you can be more aggressive. And for items, this is your core: boots, Knight's Vow, Locket, and Remnant of the Aspect. And then situationally, you can include Warmog's armor in the core. Otherwise, your situational items are these right here: Frozen Heart, Thornmail, Randuin's, Mikhail's, Redemption, or Adaptive Helm. And also situationally, I would say you could include Abyssal Mask in there. So we'll go ahead and add that in there now. But that's it, guys, for support, runes, and items. Playstyle, I've shown you multiple videos on my channel. You can check that out at your convenience. It's really up to you. Let's move on to talking about Tahm Kench in the top lane. There are still only 2 styles to Tahm Kench in the top lane: your Bruiser split push style or your tank team fighting style. Let's talk about Bruiser split push style Tahm Kench first, and let's talk about runes before we talk about items. So, Bruiser top lane Tahm Kench. Like I said, I've been on the Glacial Augment hype train for a long time. It is just so good. Basic attacking a champion slows them for 2 seconds. The slow increases in strength over its duration. Melee attack slow by up to 45% at level 1 to 55% at level 18. It ramps up from 0 to 55%. Slowing a champion with an active item shoots a freeze ray through them, freezing the nearby ground for 5 seconds, and slowing all units inside by 60%. So that has very good synergy with the items you'll be taking on Bruiser Tahm Kench. But yes, it is basically the exact same inspiration page as from the aggressive Tahm Kench support: Glacial Augment, Biscuit Delivery, Magical Footwear, and Approach Velocity. And instead of taking Resolve, you're taking the Precision Tree for the dueling power. Triumph restores 12% of your missing health and grants you additional gold on takedowns. And Legend Alacrity grants you attack speed for every Legend stack, 10 stacks, 1.5%, that's 15% attack speed. 18% attack speed once you max out your Legend stacks. You also get 20% attack speed for just having the Precision Tree in combination with your Inspiration Tree. So that's 23% attack speed at the start of the game. Really solid. You also get plus 20% potion and elixir duration. So if you start corrupting potion like you mostly should be doing with Tahm Kench in the top lane, you will get the plus 20% potion and elixir duration for that. You'll get it for the biscuits. You'll get it for anything else that you'll... So the corrupting potion and the biscuits both get the plus 20% potion and elixir duration. Really solid. This is by far, in my opinion, the best page. You have, I believe, 600 base health, 620 base health when you start the game this way, so you still are decently high up there on the base health. You're not the tankiest, but your 1v1 potential between the biscuits, the corrupting potion, and all of these runes, emphasizing your 1v1 bruiser top lane on an island dueling potential, is what makes it so strong. The second way you can go with this is less attack speed and more tank, and that would simply be going into the Resolve tree and taking Demolish and Conditioning. I like this one because this gives you a bit more tank. You get the Demolish for the split push damage against towers. You still keep the Glacial Augment. This is, again, your Bruiser build, and this is for going into Bruisers like Irelia, like Riven, like Pantheon. Basically, a Bruiser is someone who builds a couple damage items, 2, 3, 4 damage items, before going into tank. This is not exactly what I would use against champions like Darius or Cho'Gath or Illaoi. Garen is another example. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but realistically, this is for Bruiser Tahm Kench into Bruiser champions like Irelia, Riven, Yasuo, Pantheon, all those Bruiser style champions that we're talking about. They're classified as fighters. I call them Bruisers. So let's go back. Let's get this changed back to where we wanted it, which is Triumph and Alacrity, and save that. And now let's talk about the second Bruiser, the second way you can go with runes for Tahm Kench in the top lane, which is Tahm Kench versus tanks. Now, I think there are two options you can do for Tahm Kench versus tanks in the top lane. I really like Unsealed Spellbook on Tahm Kench versus tanks like Cho'Gath, Garen, Darius, Gragas, J4 can be a tank. Shen is a great example of a tank top lane. Maokai, Nautilus, all the classic tank top laners and hyper tank top laners. This is the way I would go. And the reason why is because your level 1 is almost always significantly better than theirs. And when you go Unsealed Spellbook, you start Ghost and you start Ignite, and you just tell them, alright, you get anywhere near this first minion wave, and I am going to all-in you and kill you, and there is almost zero counterplay because you've got Unsealed Spellbook, you've got Ignite, you have your 3-stack passive, you have Q for the stun. It is almost impossible to screw up that level 1. So, Unsealed Spellbook, like I said, to take Ghost Ignite. When the 3-minute mark comes up, you swap out the Ignite teleport, you go back to lane. When the 6-minute mark comes up, you swap out the Ghost for Flash, and you stick with Flash and TP for the rest of the game. The nice thing about Unsealed Spellbook is it gives you Summoner Spell cooldown reduction of 25%. So your TP and your Flash are back that much faster. You can abuse having the TP advantage all game. Really solid. Again, Biscuit Delivery here for the in-lane sustain, especially the mana sustain. It's really, really good for the mana sustain. Every 3 minutes you get a biscuit, and it increases your mana cap by 40 permanently, and it restores 15% of your missing health and mana, which is really nice. Magical Footwear. This one for top lane in particular, I would say if it's a farm lane, if you know you're not going to be getting a whole lot of assists or takedowns, then I would say you could probably get by with Futures Market over Magical Footwear. However, Magical Footwear is amazing because it saves you 350 gold, which you can put towards your main purchases earlier. So I'm fully on the Magical Footwear hype train right now. If you guys remember from my Ultimate Preseason Tahm Kench guide, I really liked Futures Market, the ability to buy items sooner. But I have since changed my mind. Magical Footwear, in my opinion, is absolutely 100% the way to go. Go with Magical Footwear all the time, guys. It's really good. You get the plus 10 movement speed. You get the upgrade. Right now it's for 50 gold less. They're going to change that so that the upgrade is the same cost as it usually would be, so it only saves you 300 gold instead of 350 gold. It's still really good. It still gives you the plus 10 movement speed. Really solid. Always go with Magical Footwear. Biscuit Delivery, I still prefer this over Perfect Timing because Tahm Kench, you're very tanky. Perfect Timing builds into Zanya's Hourglass, Guardian Angel, and Gargoyle Stoneplate, none of which are very good on Tahm Kench. And like I said, this is Tahm Kench versus tanks, and this is also primarily if you are building tank and team fighting yourself, or the flash and the TP cooldown reduction. Secondary page, Resolve is conditioning and Second Wind every time. Second Wind helps you in team fights by healing you for 4% of your missing health, plus 6 over 10 seconds. You could also theoretically go with Revitalize if you have a healing and shielding support like a Soraka, Sona, Janna, Lulu on your team. This will increase the amount of heals and shields you receive from them. Conditioning is really solid. If you think it's a hardcore farm lane and you're not going to be taking a lot of poke ever during the game, then I would say you could go with Conditioning and Demolish, but that's a very, very rare case. Honestly, if you don't have a lot of rune pages, you don't feel confident in knowing which matchups to change it to Conditioning and Demolish, then I would just stick with Conditioning and Second Wind. Set it and forget it is the way I would describe it. And of course, the last rune page that I cannot be remiss about talking about, it is still the most popular rune page on top lane Tahm Kench. It's the Resolve and either Inspiration or Precision for the secondary tree. Tank Kench top lane, and it's Grasp with the Undying. It's Demolish or Unflinching. I like Demolish, I prefer Demolish. And then it's Conditioning and Second Wind. These two, like I said, are almost never changing. If you are unsure whether or not you need to change it for a matchup, don't change it. Only change it if you're 100% confident that something else is going to be better than either Conditioning or Second Wind. And then your secondary tree is either Precision for the Triumph and Alacrity, or you're going to be going into Inspiration for the Biscuits and either Cosmic Insight, Approach Velocity, or Magical Footwear. You can go 3 ways with this. You can go Biscuits plus Boots, you can go Biscuits plus Approach Velocity, or you can go Boots plus Approach Velocity. So I would say if you're going with tank Tahm Kench in the top lane, you want to go with Boots to save you the gold, the 350 gold or 300 depending on when you are looking at this video. 300 after, I believe, patch 8.4. 350 after 350 currently. It's 300 gold after patch 8.4. And Approach Velocity giving you the bonus movement speed towards nearby allied champions that are movement impaired or enemy champions that you have movement impaired, specifically your Q. I think if you're going top lane Kench with an emphasis on tank and team fighting, this is the page to go with. There is an argument to be made for going with the Precision secondary tree, which is Triumph and Alacrity. It gives you more attack speed, more dueling potential in the top lane. However, you're already Tahm Kench. You're already very strong in your duels. I don't think it makes a huge difference having the Precision tree over the Inspiration tree when you're building full tank. So I would stick with probably boots and then approach velocity, because this is not about dueling 1v1. You're already pretty good at that as Tahm Kench. This is about building Sunfire Cape, building Warmogs, building Locket of the Iron Solari, and just being a massive team fight frontline counter-engaged champion. You sit there and you absorb poke over and over and over again, and you laugh. That is the whole idea behind Tahm Kench top lane team fighting build and runes. Grasp of the Undying gives you that initial Q auto attack power. You get the every 4 seconds in champion you get bonus magic damage equal to 4% of your max health. Heals you for 2% of your max health and increases your health by 5 permanently. It's really solid. I would be remiss if I was not mentioning this rune page. This is not my choice of rune page for Tahm Kench in the top lane. If I'm doing Tahm Kench in the top lane, I prefer the Glacial Augment or the Spellbook, depending on the matchup. Like I said, Glacial Augment is for bruisers. Spellbook is against tanks like Darius, Cho'Gath, Garen. But like I said, this is still a very valid, very good option for Tahm Kench in the top lane if you're just building straight full tank. Alright, let's talk about items for Tahm Kench in the top lane. It's what we really are more concerned about. So, first off, that Tahm Kench tank top lane build path. You'll see I've still got Relic Shield in here, and we'll talk about why in just a minute. But your core build with tank top lane Tahm Kench, Sunfire Cape, armor, health, passive, helps with the wave clear. Warmogs, health, base regeneration, cooldown reduction, and that sweet unique passive where you restore 25% of your maximum health every 5 seconds if damage hasn't been taken within 6 seconds, 3 seconds for damage from minions and monsters. This is what allows you to take poke and sustain. You're sieging a tower, you're being a frontline tank for your team. You take a lot of poke, you take say 2,000 damage and you get chunked out, but you can still kind of walk back and forth. As long as you don't take damage in 6 seconds, you start regenning pretty much immediately, and you come back 10 seconds later, full health, ready to be a frontline tank and absorb more poke and crowd control for your team when you are fighting over objectives like dragons, barons, towers, inhibitors, etc. Third, and most importantly, Locket of the Iron Solari. This gives you 60 magic resistance, which you're going to definitely need because you are a frontline tank. You're going to be taking poke from magic, you're going to be taking poke from AD, etc, etc, etc. But more importantly, you are a health stacking champion. You've already got 1,225 bonus health between Warmogs and Sunfire Cape. You're going to be hitting that Warmogs threshold, but this is going to give you a shield to yourself and nearby allied champions for 2.5 seconds that absorbs 38 plus 22 per level, plus 2% to approximately 36% of your bonus health damage on a 90-second cooldown. The shield per level uses the higher of your level or the target's level. Shield ratio scales with your level. Shield amount is reduced to 50% if the target has been affected by another Locket of the Iron Solari shield within the last 8 seconds. Those are not as important. What is important is to understand that 30%, so say at level 15, it's about 31%, 32% of your bonus health as a shield, plus 38 plus 22 per level. So plus 22 per level, so 15 plus times 22, that's about 400 right there, if my math is right. We'll do the math real quick here just to show you guys in particular how critical this is. Let's go ahead and add a screen. All right, so 22 times 15, that's 330 right there, plus 38, that's 368. That's just from that first part. Now let's say you have the health from Warmogs and Sunfire Cape, 800, 425, that's 1,225 bonus health. 1,225 times, and we're calling it 31% of that. So 0.31. So that is a 750 HP shield to everybody when you are level 15 and you have the bonus health from Warmogs and Sunfire Cape. It's even more when you are building Grasp of the Undying and you are including the permanent bonus health that you have gotten from Grasp of the Undying. But a 750 HP shield is literally absurd. When you get that on all 5 of your teammates, that is 3,700 HP that you have given to your teammates for 2.5 seconds. In a team fight, that is absolutely massive. That is a huge amount of HP that you've given to your teammates, all for the low cost of 2,200 gold. So that's why these 3 items are core on Tahm Kench tank top lane when your goal is to be team fighting with your team. Situational items for Tahm Kench in the top lane are Knight's Vow, and then Randuin's Omen, Dead Man's Plate, Thornmail, Righteous Glory, Abyssal Mask, Adaptive Helm, and Spirit Visage. Anything else is pretty much not worth considering. These are your situational items, and your boot block. Let's go ahead and make a boot block. It's Ninja Tabby, Merc Treads, or Swifties. Those are the only 3 options for Tahm Kench in the top lane. As a team fighting Tahm Kench, I would say your options are truly either Merc Treads or Ninja Tabby. However, Boots of Swiftness you can make an argument for if there's not a whole lot of crowd control and it's not exactly a bunch of AD auto-attacking champions where you're reducing a lot of the base, where you're blocking 10% of their basic attack damage. Swiftness boots. So I would say the order for team fighting Tahm Kench top lane would be Merc Treads and Ninja Tabby, almost equal, slightly preferring Merc Treads over Ninja Tabby, and then Swiftness boots if you're just in a super dominant matchup against like a Tryndamere, you know, where you literally just don't need Ninja Tabbies at all. Boots of Swiftness is really good for the enhanced movement speed, and you can reduce slows, the movement slowing effect, by 25%. Not the duration, but the actual power of the slow gets reduced by 25%. But that's your boot block. These are your situational items. Obviously, Adaptive Helm, just like support role, is for AP heavy champions like Singed, Cassiopeia, Rise, Diana. It's actually really good against Teemo. It's really good against Ziggs. It's really good against Abyssal Mask is when you have an AP heavy team and you want to increase the magic damage that enemy champions take when you are nearby them. Randuin's is in crit heavy matchups like Yasuo plus a crit auto attacking AD carry. Dead Man's Plate is for the extra movement speed and getting that initial boom extra damage on a basic attack. Thornmail is into sustain matchups. Righteous Glory is when you need a additional form of engage for your team. So the movement speed that you get plus the slow works really well in combination with Glacial Augment. And Knight's Vow is when you have a hyper carry on your team and you have a heal shield mage support champion like Janna, Lulu, Soraka, Sona that is typically not going to be building a Knight's Vow. So you can throw your Knight's Vow onto the AD carry and get the benefit of healing for 12% of the damage that they deal to champions and redirecting 12% of the damage they take from champions to you. So Knight's Vow, I really like it. Righteous Glory, I really like it. All these, of course, are situational, though, depending on the game. So that is your Tahm Kench tank top lane. Now let's move on to Tahm Kench Bruiser top lane. And you'll see, once again, I've included Relic Shield here. So, why am I including Relic Shield? Well, Relic Shield and all of the support items now give you what's called Bandit. Bandit is when you hit champions, you gain gold. You basically are not stealing gold, but you gain extra gold every time you hit a champion with an auto attack. So for Tahm Kench, as a melee champion, you gain 10 gold every time you hit a champion with an auto attack. This is really, really solid when you are using Glacial Augment, when you're using Grasp of the Undying, because the whole trading pattern with Tahm Kench is you go up, you Q, you auto attack, you W, you spit them out, you E-shield, and walk away. That's your trade. You get 20 gold off of that trade. So if you're running Glacial Augment, you stick to them better. If you're running Grasp, you do extra damage on that first auto attack. It's really solid. So the other nice thing about Relic Shield is if you keep it till you've earned the upgrade on it, you get the warding. As a top laner, you get the wards. So you can put out plenty of wards, and you can spam out your blue trinket or your oracles if you take oracles over blue trinket. But you can spam a bunch of wards out to keep you safe while you're split pushing and help give your team vision around objectives. So it's really solid there. It also encourages your jungler to come top lane and tax your lane without you losing the gold. So they can take, you can tell them, hey, I'm taking the cannon minion because I've got the relic shield stacks, but you're gonna get the gold too. So come top lane, gank, and then I'm gonna give you 40, 50, 75 gold just for being here because of the relic shield. So it's actually a really solid starting item. It gives you 75 health at the start of the game. It gives you plus 2 gold per 10 seconds, which is nice. It gives you the passive bandit, which is really nice. The thing about relic shield is if you are into it, it's almost as much health, starting health, as Doran's shield. It doesn't give you the basic attack extra damage on hit. It doesn't give you the Doran's shield passive. It doesn't give you the restores 6 health every 5 seconds passive. But what this does do is it synergizes very well with your potion buy. Because you get Relic Shield, you get Refillable, and then your first back, it's only 350 gold to upgrade to a Corrupting Potion, which is, as we all know, very, very strong on Tahm Kench. And then your Bruiser Top Kench top lane build is these 3 items. Ninja Tabby, because it gives you armor, it gives you that sweet passive of blocking 10% of the damage from basic attacks, it gives you the movement speed. Your health item and your damage item and your wave clear item is Titanic Hydra. You get plus 40 attack damage, plus 100% base health regeneration. You get plus 450 health, which obviously more health on Tahm Kench is good. Your basic attacks deal 5 plus 1% of your maximum health as bonus physical damage to your target, and 40 plus 2.5% of your maximum health as physical damage to other enemies in a cone on hit. So that's extra on hit damage, synergizing with your passive, synergizing with the fact that you're stacking health. And you get the auto attack, reset, active, crescent, where you cleave damage to all targets is increased to 40 plus 10% of your maximum health as bonus physical damage in a larger cone for your next basic attack. It's 20-second cooldown. Titanic Hydra, I've been pushing this for years and years and years on Tahm Kench. It's a really great item on him. It gives you the health, it gives you AD, it gives you base health regen. The AD is icing on the cake. Really what you love this for is the auto attack reset and the wave clear. And then I used to be on the Trinity Force hype train. Not so much anymore. Wit's End specifically is really good on Tahm Kench. You get 40% attack speed, which Tahm Kench is an auto-attacking champion. That's where you get a lot of your damage as Tahm Kench, especially in longer trades and all-ins, is you're auto-attacking them over and over and over and over and over again. You're Q stunning them, and then you're auto-attacking them some more. Glacial Augment helps you stick to them. Basic attacks deal 40 bonus damage, magic damage on hit. You steal 5 magic resistance from the target, stacking up to 5 times. It's just really, really amazing, guys. And it's only 2,500 gold. Compare that to the 3,733 gold for a Trinity Force. You get the same amount of attack speed. You get magic resistance, which helps your tankiness. So between these 3 items, you're getting 30 bonus armor. You're getting 40 bonus magic resistance. That goes up to 65 bonus magic resistance, and you get your attack speed. The only thing you lack doing a Wit's End over a Trinity Force is you lack the movement speed from the Phage that builds into the Trinity Force, and you lack the cooldown reduction. However, you can solve a lot of the problems that you initially had from losing the movement speed while basic attacking from Trinity Force are solved because of the fact that you're running Glacial Augment as Bruiser Kench. Because you have Glacial Augment, it gives you that stickiness that you need to orb block while you're basic attacking that you would otherwise be lacking without Trinity Force. Since those 3 items are your core items, you start to need more HP that you lack from the Trinity Force, and you need the cooldown reduction. So, these are your situational tank plus cooldown reduction items that you want to look at getting on Tahm Kench. The reason I went with Iceborne Gauntlet over something like a Frozen Heart is because you still get the 20% cooldown reduction. You also get 500 mana, which is really nice. You get 65 armor, but more importantly, you get that Spellblade passive. After using an ability, the next basic attack deals bonus physical damage equal to 100% of basic attack damage in an area and creates an icy zone that lasts for 2 seconds that slows movement speed by 30%. So, this is really nice because you Q, you auto attack, and if you've already applied your Glacial Augment passive to them, a Q plus an auto attack then creates this icy zone that slows them by 30% for 2 seconds. It's just another form of a slow that allows you to orb block and stick to your opponent. It gives you 65 armor, it gives you 20% cooldown reduction. Really good item. It's situational. If you need it for a very, very slippery champion like a Fizz, like a Riven, someone who has a lot of means of dashing away from you, of trying to get away from you so that you cannot all in them. Renekton is another champion, for example. I think this is really good against. Just giving you all that armor, that cooldown reduction, and that unique passive is really good. I would say the one I would build the most is probably Righteous Glory for the health, the mana, the armor, 100% base health regeneration, and the cooldown reduction, plus that amazing 75% bonus movement speed when moving towards an enemy, and then slowing them by 75% for 2 seconds. Again, remember the Glacial Augment unique passive, where if you have an item that slows, it shoots a freeze right through them and creates an icy zone for 5 seconds that slows by 60%. So Righteous Glory, really strong here, gives you the armor, the health, the mana, base health regeneration, cooldown reduction. I would say most of the time my core build would actually be Titanic Hydra, Wit's End, and Righteous Glory, but sometimes it'll be the Iceborne Gauntlet instead of the Righteous Glory. And then for other tank items, we're looking at Warmogs, we're looking at Spirit Visage, we're looking at Adaptive Helm and Abyssal Mask. These are all items that give you cooldown reduction in addition to the tank stats. And tank stats, for our purposes, are HP and either armor or magic resistance or both. In these situations, armor, and cooldown reduction, armor and hit points, and cooldown reduction. This is just armor and cooldown reduction with that nice passive. And of course, armor and magic, or you get magic resistance and HP and cooldown reduction, cooldown reduction, cooldown reduction. And this one is just the huge plus 800 health cooldown reduction and the Warmog's Heart passive if you have 2750 maximum health. Really good. So, like I said, this is your Bruiser Tahm Kench top lane core build. Warmogs would be the one I would build the least out of all of these. Righteous Glory is the one I would build the most out of all of these. Giving you the extra armor and the ability to run down your opponent into 1v1 is really nice. Other situational items that I would run on Bruiser top lane Tahm Kench. Thornmail, obviously against champions that have an absurd amount of sustain, like Fiora, like Trundle, Tryndamere, Master Yi, whether it's through itemization or through their kit, if they have a lot of sustain. Alawi is another example. Then Thornmail is really good. It cuts that sustain, it cuts their healing. And if you want to triple down on wave clear, split push, being a 1v1 monster, the additional wave clear armor and HP that you would get from Sunfire Cape is really solid. So that, guys, is pretty much it for top lane Tahm Kench Bruiser builds. Your core items are Ninja Tabby, Titanic Hydra, and Wit's End. Almost always Ninja Tabby. Sometimes, and it's very rare, but sometimes you would go Mercury's Tread over Ninja Tabby. but I would say 90% of the time I go Ninja Tabby, 10% of the time I go Mercury Treads. Those are the only two options for Bruiser, Split Pushing, Tahm Kench. There's just no other options. And then, like I said, core items, Titanic Hydra, Wit's End. Those give you your damage. Those give you the attack speed you're looking for. And then you get your CDR plus tank. Righteous Glory is almost all the time, but not quite enough to be considered core build. Spirit Visage, Adaptive Helm, Abyssal Mask, Warmogs, Iceborne Gauntlet, all really good. Once again, Gauntlet is only included here because we're no longer considering Trinity Force as a core part of the build or even an optional part of the build. And then situationally, Thornmail and Sunfire Cape, and I would also include Randuin's and Dead Man's Plate in here as well as situational items. Randuin's if your laning opponent is Yasuo. Dead Man's Plate if you need the extra movement speed again on top of like a Righteous Glory. Thornmail if you need the Grievous Wounds against a sustained champion like a Fiora, Aurelia, etc, etc, etc. And Sunfire Cape if you just want to triple down on the wave clear split pushing. And that's it. Let's go ahead and talk about the jungle. Jungle has not changed too much. There's not really a damage build anymore in my opinion. The support build is just too good right now. However, the one change with the support build is it's no longer Stalker's Blade, it is Blue Smite. I go Blue Smite, Cinderhulk, and the reason why is because on your very first back, you get Relic Shield. Because Relic Shield is just that damn good. So the reason why this works on Tahm Kench and the jungle is you still get the +2 gold per 10 seconds, you still get your +75 health, and you're still clearing your jungle with the Cinderhulk and everything else that you're doing. But with the Relic Shield, what you do is if you can, you immediately buy the Targons on your first back because it gives you a +175 health and +50% base health regeneration, and it gives you 3 charges. So the reason why this is so good is you immediately have those 3 charges. You walk into lane, you kill 3 minions, boom, you've shared the gold with your ally, so it's not like you're taxing the lane except for the experience, and you're giving that gold to your ally still, but you're also getting the gold for yourself. You show up, you attempt to gank. If the gank doesn't go well, oh well. You've given a little bit of lane pressure to your ally or alleviated a little bit of lane pressure for your ally, and you take 75 or 80 or 100 gold for yourself that you're not taking away from your ally. Targon's Brace, Jungle, Kench, really good. Do it. I love it. So, what we have once you understand why Relic Shield and Targon's is so good on Kench is your core build right here. Let's go ahead and include this. Boots can change depending on your need. I like swiftness boots or mobility boots depending on whether I need slow reduction or whether I just need to be able to zoom into lane to get an auto attack off. Core build, Blue Smite Cinderhulk for the bonus health, 20% plus 20% bonus health, plus 300 health. And the Immolate deals magic damage to nearby enemies while in combat, deals 200% bonus damage to minions and monsters. And then just like your support build, you go Knight's Vow, you go Lock of the Iron Solari, you go Warmogs, and you've got your boots. And then, honestly, Targons, upgrade it. I mean, this is your core build. If you need a specific item besides Targons and then Remnant of the Aspect, then you can build that. But you get armor here, you get magic resistance and armor here, you're getting a ton of HP from all these items, except for the Locket of the Iron Solari, of course. But then again, we know that you're getting all of this bonus health from Cinderhulk, plus 20% bonus health, plus 300 health. Remnant is going to be giving you, so let's go ahead and throw the Remnant in here as well. Remnant gives you plus 500, plus 300, plus 250, plus 800. So let's take a look at that. 300 plus 500 plus 250 plus 800 plus 250 plus 800. That's 1850 bonus health. So let's do that. 800, 250, 500, 300, and then multiply that by 1.2. That's 2,220 bonus health times 0.31. That's 688 there. Plus whatever the per level is on the Locket of the Iron Solari. So I think at level 15 we said it was 360 plus 688. That is a 1,050 HP Locket of the Iron Solari AoE shield. So if you get all 5 of your allies in that shield, that's 5,250 HP that you are spreading around from Locket of the Iron Solari. That is a massive gold value. When you consider that a ruby crystal is 400 gold and 150, so we'll divide this by 150. 35 times 400. That is a 14,000 gold value shield for 2.5 seconds. That is how massive that AoE Locket of the Iron Solari shield is. Don't ever forget that, guys. Locket of the Iron Solari is an amazing item on Tahm Kench. Period. End of story. Get it. Got it. Good. Done. Alright. That is your core build. Situationally, if you really need something other than more wards for your team, more HP for your rocket shield, if you want to get rid of this after you've gotten most of your use out of the bandit passive, you know, that bandit passive, once you've gotten to Cinder Hulk, Knight's Vow, and Locket, you can consider selling the Targon instead of upgrading to Remnant of the Aspect in case you need a more situational item. Those items situationally would be Frozen Heart, Abyssal Mask, and Thornmail, as well as Adaptive Helm. So we'll go ahead and throw this one in here as well. Also consider Warmogs, not necessarily 100% a core item. This could be situationally as well, in replacement of a Thornmail or Abyssal Mask or Adaptive Helm or Frozen Heart. I would say the core 3 items, core 4 items is your Boots, Cinder Hulk, Knight's Vow, and Locket. This one and this one. These 2 items are mostly core, but not completely core. I would say actually Warmogs is more core than Remnant. So I would say 70% of the time you get Warmogs, maybe 50% of the time you get Remnant of the Aspect. If you're not getting Remnant of the Aspect, you're getting Thornmail, Adaptive Helm, Abyssal Mask, or Frozen Heart. If you're not getting Warmogs and you're not getting Remnant, then you're getting 2 of these items, probably Adaptive Helm and Frozen Heart. Situationally, you'd be getting Abyssal Mask and Thornmail, or Thornmail and Frozen Heart if it's an all AD team, or you could be getting Abyssal Mask and Adaptive Helm if it's an AP heavy team. But yeah, that's your core jungle support build. You get wards from Targons after a few minutes of taxing lanes. You get the bonus health from the Cinder Hulk and the wave clear from the Cinder Hulk and the jungle camp clear from the Cinder Hulk. You get support items in your Knight's Vow, being able to designate an allied champion as your partner. You get the big fat AoE Locket shield. You're a secondary support from the jungle and you have excellent jungle clear. You're able to use your frontlining ability to help zone objectives. Q plus Smite is not the worst objective control in the world. It's not as good as, say, a Sejuani or a Kha'Zix or Nunu, Callista kind of objective control, but it's still pretty good. It's still 350, 400 damage on a Q, plus the level advantage that you'll hopefully always be having as Tahm Kench jungle from being in lane, taxing experience in lane. But yeah, that's Tahm Kench in the jungle, guys. Let's take a look at the rune page, and you're going to be shocked to find out what rune page I talk about for Tahm Kench in the jungle. Actually, no, you're not going to be shocked at all. It's the same. It's Glacial Augment. Glacial Augment is so good. And here's where I actually like to differentiate, because I put a priority on movement speed in the jungle. Instead of magical footwear, I go futures market here, but I still take approach velocity. And this is specifically for only Tahm Kench in the jungle. Glacial Augment, amazing. Tahm Kench in the jungle. Biscuit Delivery gives you some extra sustain through the first clears of the jungle. Futures Market gives you the ability to buy a little bit more early on in the jungle. Approach Velocity allows you to move faster towards impaired allies or enemies that you've impaired. Secondary Tree is always Triumph and always Alacrity. You get plus 20% attack speed, plus 20% potion and elixir duration. You get Alacrity, which is an additional 3% attack speed, plus 1.5% for every legend stack. You get legend stacks super quick by taking down epic monsters, large monsters, minions, and champions, so you get those stacks really nice, really quick. Triumph is really good for the takedown, restoration of health, and giving you gold. Precision, like I said, this is your tree. Inspiration plus precision. It's really solid. Let's actually show you real quick. We're gonna show you guys how good this clear is with Tahm Kench in the jungle. Nope, we're just gonna go over here. Tahm Kench in the jungle. By the way, Tahm Kench in the jungle is Ghost and Smite as opposed to Flash and Smite. I like Ghost. You ghost into lane real quick. We're gonna get into this game and show you guys exactly how fast you can clear your jungle with Tahm Kench. It is actually kind of insane, and this is going to be without a leash. Keep that in mind, guys. This is without a leash. We're going to absolutely crush this jungle clear. It's machete start, and I'm gonna do 3 red potions because this is without a leash. If you're getting a leash from either your top laner or your duo bot lane, you can go refillable quite easily with this leash, guys. So, you are on bot side here. If you are on the red side start, then you start wolves. Yep, that's right. You start wolves and you start W. And I'll show you why. Just running around. It's even better if you're on blue side start. But we're on red side start. We're going to start the wolves here. Let's fast forward this.
Minions have spawned.
You have 610 HP. You've got attack speed from your precision runes. You've got attack speed from the machete. The way this works is you auto attack the little one, you eat the big one, and you auto attack the little one until it's dead. And you auto attack the other little one until it's dead. And you walk this way, right to about here. You can start chugging one of your potions right now. Keep you relatively healthy. Eat it up. Spit it out. I fucked up in that I did not get the damage onto the blue buff here. But you take Q second. Smite the blue buff. Over here, you've got the blue buff for the mana sustain now. Do a full blue side clear. Keep an eye on time. It's 2:26. Come up this way. You can actually clear Scuttle at this point. Once you run him down towards the middle, speed him up and put him into your blue side jungle here. Finish it off. Gives you a little bit of HP. Again, this would be mirrored for starting on the blue side. At the 3-minute mark, we're going to get a biscuit, and we're going to immediately eat that biscuit. It's going to give us some more HP. Come down here, and you actually do raptors. fight the raptor. And with this last one, since your W does not work on red buff, you eat the little one and you spit it at the red buff. Use your E shield to block some damage. Take that last potion. Block some more damage. Q max. You're getting red buff, buffing you up. You've got Q and W. Q auto W. Auto attacks on the little one. Spit. Kill the little ones. Block some damage. Block some damage. Shoot them up, spit them out. Full clear in under 3 minutes. Now you can back. You've got 1,040 gold on your back, and you're backing before the 3-minute mark. So that's a full clear in 3 minutes with machete and 3 red potions and 0 leash. Really solid. Does not get much better than that. And then on your back, you can get that. You can get the Relic shield. Where is my Relic shield? There it is. And then you can buy your refillable potion.
I am appetite focused.
And now with these 3, you can go back out on the map and you can tax lanes. And that's it, guys. That's your jungle clear. That's why Tahm Kench is really insanely strong in the jungle, in my opinion, as long as you're taking that Glacial Augment rune page. Glacial Augment is the key here. Precision is the secondary tree key. It just makes everything so much better for Tahm Kench. And that's it, guys. That is the Season 8 State of the Kench update to our Tahm Kench Ultimate Guide. This is for Tahm Kench top lane support and jungle. You could actually apply these ideas, these runes, to a mid lane style Tahm Kench as well if the matchup was particularly in your favor, like a Zed, Talon, etc. AD, assassin style champions that just get cucked by Tahm Kench in general. You could definitely apply that to those types of matchups as well with mid lane. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, guys, give me a like, give me a subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. Remember, I do have that giveaway going on right now where if we reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and 1,000 followers on Twitch, I will be giving away a $50 RP card for any server anywhere in the world, whether that's NA, Korea, EU West, EU East, EU North, EU South, Brazil, Latin America North, Latin America South, Oceania, wherever you may be in the world. If you want an RP card, subscribe. You'll be entered into the giveaway. I'll have that information on the screen right now. You can look at that. But otherwise, just follow me. I'm playing a support to Diamond series right now, guys. We're Gold 1. We went from Gold 3 to Gold 1 in 13 games. Tomorrow, probably going to, if you're watching this the day this video is released, you'll be able to catch me more on twitch.tv/Dannar Hetoshi tomorrow as I do more of my support to Diamond series. I main Tahm Kench, but he's not the only champion I'm playing. It's not like a one-trick pony guide to Diamond or anything like that. I do main Tahm Kench, but he is not my only champion or climbing to Diamond. But yeah, a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Give me a like, drop a subscribe on me, give me some comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about in future State of the Kench videos. But yeah, that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
I am the River King!